Your blood may know things about you that you don't. Not your personality, not your future, but something far more surprising. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your hidden biological advantages, and even some of the dangers your body may face throughout life. Most people think blood type only matters during a transfusion. A doctor asks whether you are A, B, AB, or O. The answer gets written down, and then everyone forgets about it. But scientists haven't forgotten. For decades, researchers have been uncovering strange connections between blood types and human biology. Connections involving disease risk, immune function, athletic performance, stress response, longevity, even survival during some of history's deadliest epidemics. And what they discovered was shocking. Because your blood type is not just a label. It is a biological fingerprint. A tiny genetic clue that influences how your body interacts with the world around it. Today, we are going to explore the hidden superpowers and hidden dangers associated with each blood type. Some of these discoveries may completely change how you think about your own body. But there is one blood type in particular that scientists continue to find especially fascinating. And what makes it unique might surprise you. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because every week we explore the science behind health, longevity, evolution, and human biology. Now let's start with a question. Imagine 4 ancient kingdoms. Each kingdom has its own army, its own defenses, its own strengths, and its own vulnerabilities. For thousands of years, these kingdoms compete against diseases, environmental threats, and changing conditions. Some defenses work better against one enemy. Some work worse against another. Over time, each kingdom develops different survival advantages. According to modern biology, something surprisingly similar exists inside your bloodstream. Your blood type is determined by special markers found on the surface of red blood cells. Think of these markers as identification badges. They tell your immune system who belongs and who does not. Type A carries one badge. Type B carries another. Type AB carries both. Type O carries neither. At first glance, this sounds simple. But those tiny markers influence far more than scientists originally imagined. Because your immune system is constantly making decisions. Every second, it evaluates threats, identifies invaders, and determines how aggressively to respond. Those blood type markers can subtly affect these interactions. Which brings us to our first hidden superpower. Disease resistance. Imagine a castle surrounded by walls. Some walls are better at stopping certain invaders. Others are more vulnerable. The same principle applies to biology. Researchers have observed that certain blood types appear to provide advantages against specific diseases while increasing vulnerability to others. One of the most famous examples involves blood type O. For years, scientists noticed something unusual. People with blood type O appear to have lower risks for certain cardiovascular conditions compared to some other blood groups. Researchers believe part of this advantage may be connected to how blood clotting factors behave inside the body. Think of blood clotting as an emergency repair crew. When a blood vessel becomes damaged, clotting factors rush in to stop the leak. This system saves lives. But like any repair crew, too much activity can sometimes create problems. Excessive clotting may increase the risk of dangerous blockages. Interestingly, blood type O individuals often have naturally lower levels of specific clotting-related proteins. This may contribute to some cardiovascular advantages. But every superpower comes with a trade-off. Because biology rarely gives something for nothing. While blood type O may possess certain cardiovascular benefits, researchers have also found evidence suggesting increased susceptibility to some stomach-related issues and infections. One advantage, one vulnerability. A recurring theme throughout human biology. And blood type O is only the beginning. Let's move to blood type A. If blood type O is often associated with certain circulation advantages, blood type A reveals an entirely different story. Think of the immune system as a security department. Some security teams are highly aggressive. Others are more measured. Some react quickly to potential threats. Others take a more cautious approach. Scientists have observed differences in immune responses across blood groups. While the exact mechanisms remain complex, blood type A has been linked in various studies to unique immune characteristics. This does not mean every person with blood type A experiences the same outcomes. Far from it. Genetics are complicated. Lifestyle matters. Environment matters. Age matters. But patterns have emerged. And those patterns continue attracting scientific attention. Now here is where things become even more fascinating. Because blood type may influence something most people never associate with blood at all. Stress. Imagine two people facing the exact same challenge. A difficult deadline. A major presentation. An unexpected crisis. Outwardly, they appear similar. But internally, their bodies may respond differently. Hormones fluctuate. Heart rate changes. Immune activity shifts. Researchers have explored whether blood types may influence aspects of physiological stress responses. Although the science is still evolving, some studies suggest certain blood groups may react differently to stress-related signals. And if true, that could influence everything from recovery to long-term health outcomes. But stress is only one piece of the puzzle. Because your blood type may also interact with inflammation. Inflammation is one of the most misunderstood processes in the human body. Most people think inflammation is bad. In reality, inflammation is essential. Without it, wounds would not heal. Infections would spread. The immune system would fail. The problem occurs when inflammation becomes chronic. Imagine a fire department that never stops spraying water. Eventually, the solution becomes part of the problem. Chronic inflammation has been linked to numerous age-related conditions. Heart disease, metabolic dysfunction, cognitive decline, and researchers continue investigating whether blood group differences play a role in these inflammatory patterns. Which brings us to one of the most mysterious blood types of all. The rare combination. The hybrid. The blood type that carries characteristics from both A and B. Think of AB as possessing two different biological passports. It is unique, complex, and in some ways still poorly understood. Because having both markers creates interactions that researchers are still working to fully explain. Some studies have suggested unique cognitive and cardiovascular patterns associated with AB blood type. Others point toward differences in immune regulation. But every answer seems to generate new questions. And that mystery continues to make AB one of the most studied blood groups in modern research. Yet despite all these discoveries, scientists eventually uncovered something even more surprising. Something connected not to disease, not to immunity, but to human survival itself. Because hidden within your blood type may be clues about why your ancestors survived while others did not. And once researchers began tracing these clues across continents and centuries, they uncovered a story stretching back thousands of years. A story involving migration, evolution, pandemics, and natural selection. Now imagine standing in front of a giant map of human history. Thousands of years stretch across continents. Civilizations rise. Empires fall. Diseases spread. Migrations occur. Wars reshape nations. And through it all, one thing quietly travels from generation to generation. Your blood. Most people think their blood type is just a medical classification. But scientists increasingly view blood types as living records of human survival. Tiny biological clues passed down through countless generations. Clues that may explain why your ancestors survived challenges that eliminated others. To understand this, we need to travel back thousands of years. Long before hospitals. Long before modern medicine. Long before anyone knew what a blood type was. Back then, survival depended on adaptation. Humans constantly faced new diseases, new environments, new food sources, new threats. Those who adapted survived. Those who did not often disappeared from the genetic story. Think of evolution as a giant filter. Every generation passes through it. Certain traits become more common. Others become less common. And blood types appear to be part of that process. Researchers believe blood type O may be the oldest major blood group. In a sense, it is the ancestral blueprint. Many scientists suspect that early hunter-gatherer populations were dominated by type O blood. As human societies expanded and lifestyles changed, new blood groups gradually emerged. Type A appears to have become more common as agriculture spread. Permanent settlements developed. Population density increased. Humans began living closer together. And with larger populations came new disease pressures. Type B is believed to have emerged later in certain regions as populations migrated and adapted to different environmental conditions. Then came AB, the rare combination, the newest major blood group, a biological merger carrying characteristics from both A and B. Think of AB as one of evolution's later experiments. And that experiment produced some fascinating results. Because AB remains one of the rarest blood types on Earth. But rarity is only part of the story. The real mystery lies in how different blood groups interact with disease. Imagine two castles facing the same invading army. One castle has stronger walls. The other has stronger archers. Neither is perfect. Each possesses advantages and disadvantages. The same principle applies to blood types. Over the years, researchers have discovered surprising relationships between blood groups and infectious diseases. Some studies suggest certain blood types may experience slightly different levels of susceptibility to particular pathogens. Others appear to gain modest protective advantages. These differences are often small, but across entire populations, small differences can become significant. One of the most fascinating examples emerged during investigations into major disease outbreaks. Scientists repeatedly noticed unusual patterns. Certain blood groups appeared more frequently among severe cases. Others appeared less frequently. Researchers are still working to understand exactly why. But the findings suggest blood type may influence how pathogens interact with the body. And that brings us to one of the hidden dangers many people never consider. Your blood type influences more than blood. It influences communication. Every cell in your body constantly exchanges information. Immune cells identify threats. Proteins carry signals. Hormones coordinate responses. The body functions as an enormous communication network. Blood group markers participate in that network. They help determine how cells recognize one another, how immune responses are triggered, and sometimes how diseases gain access to the body. In other words, your blood type is not passive. It is actively participating in biological processes every second of your life. But now let's talk about perhaps the greatest superpower associated with blood types. Survival adaptability. Imagine a toolbox. No single tool is perfect for every job. A hammer is useful in one situation. A screwdriver is useful in another. Human populations work similarly. Different blood groups may provide different advantages under different conditions. That diversity increases the likelihood that a population can survive changing environments. Nature rarely bets everything on a single strategy. Instead, it creates variation. Variation creates resilience. And resilience improves survival. This may explain why multiple blood types continue to exist today. Each contributes something different to humanity's biological toolkit. But there is another blood type we haven't discussed. A blood type so rare that many people never hear about it. The Rh-null blood type. Sometimes called golden blood. Imagine possessing a blood type so uncommon that fewer than a few dozen confirmed cases exist worldwide. Unlike traditional blood groups, Rh-null lacks all Rh antigens. This makes it extraordinarily valuable for transfusion medicine. But it also creates challenges. Finding compatible donors becomes incredibly difficult. In some cases, individuals with golden blood may have only a handful of potential matches on the entire planet. It is one of the rarest biological traits known to science. And it demonstrates something remarkable. Even after decades of research, human blood still contains mysteries. Scientists continue uncovering new relationships between blood groups and health. New interactions. New patterns. New questions. Because blood is far more complex than it first appears. Now let's address one of the biggest misconceptions. Many people hear discussions about blood type and immediately assume their future is predetermined. That is not what the science shows. Your blood type influences probabilities, not destinies. Think of it like weather forecasting. A forecast may indicate a greater chance of rain. It does not guarantee rain. Similarly, a blood type may be associated with certain risks or advantages. But lifestyle still matters enormously. Diet matters. Exercise matters. Sleep matters. Stress management matters. Environmental exposure matters. Genetics are only one chapter of the story. You are not defined by a single biological marker. And that is important to remember. Because the true lesson of blood type research is not limitation. It is understanding. Understanding how your body works. Understanding why people respond differently to similar conditions. Understanding that biology is more personalized than we once believed. The most fascinating discoveries often reveal that humans are simultaneously similar and unique. We all share the same fundamental biology, the same organs, the same systems, the same evolutionary history. Yet tiny differences can create surprisingly different outcomes. And your blood type is one of those differences. A hidden signature carried through generations. A biological inheritance stretching back thousands of years. A record of survival written not in books, but in blood itself. So the next time someone asks whether you're A, B, AB, or O, remember this. The answer represents more than a medical category. It represents a story. A story of adaptation. A story of survival. A story of countless ancestors overcoming challenges so that one day, their blood could become yours. And perhaps that is the greatest superpower of all.